We're now going to move on to look at section 1 ergonomics questions, where we're still comparing and contrasting the designs of the two products that you're given on page 1 of your higher design and manufacture exam. Ergonomics questions in section 1 are usually quite heavily weighted and are a really easy way to pick up solid marks if you know how to be specific enough in your answer. This is something that we have practiced quite well at National 5 level, and most of you have picked up really well when writing ergonomics answers and being specific about the parts and the body parts that you're talking about in those answers. So this is something that you can carry on from National 5 experience. As always with section 1, you must refer to both products in your answer, and in this example we're looking at two different children's scooters. Importantly though, ergonomics has 3 different aspects to it, so it's really important that you carefully read the question to establish what you should actually be writing about. And I'm going to go through some examples of that next. So this first example, describe how ergonomics has influenced the design of both scooters for 5 marks. When answering this question, you need to refer to all 3 aspects of ergonomics and mention both scooters when you're answering this one. So you should be looking to talk about anthropometrics, physiology and psychology in your answer. However, a question which asks you to describe how physiology and psychology have influenced the design of both scooters for 4 marks, you should only refer to physiology and psychology whilst mentioning both scooters here. Answers relating to anthropometrics will gain you 0 marks. So there's no point writing about anthropometrics when they're not asking you to talk about it here. Please read the question and then read it again. You should be reading your questions over at least twice before you start writing your answers. Get into the habit of doing that, please, guys. So, when you're asked to describe how ergonomics as a whole has influenced the design of scooters, you've got the potential to pick up 5 marks here out of 25. You're going to want to start with anthropometrics because that's probably the aspect of ergonomics that you're most familiar with, and it can be the easiest to write about. And to try and cover all the marks, both scooters for 2 different marks here should be quite easy because there are multiple parts that your body is interacting with here that you're going to need to know the sizes for. This will leave you with 3 more marks to cover physiology and psychology using both scooters. Physiology again should be simple enough to cover for the product that you've been given and for 2 different marks, leaving your last mark to go towards psychology. Now that combination might not always work for the products you're given, but it can be easily adjusted to ensure all 3 aspects and both products are covered for the marks allocated. So you might end up writing 3 points for physiology, 1 for anthropometrics and 1 for psychology, or whatever other combination. As long as you cover all 3 aspects and you talk about both scooters or both products in your answer, you should be fine. So again, using that similar structure to before, statement, evidence and link. Your statement part is going to introduce the aspect of ergonomics and product you're discussing, and that makes it really clear to the marker. So in an ergonomics question, say anthropometrics specifically has influenced the design of the skate scooter, whatever product you're talking about. For your evidence, you're going to provide your reasoning and explain it, but here is where you need to be very specific. This is your higher level ability coming in. Be explicit with the size and part of the product and the size and part of the body that you're referring to gain the mark here. So the length of the handlebar will consider the shoulder width of a child. If you know what the target market is for your product, mention them. If you know it's a product for children, make sure it's children you mention in your answer, but if it's for adults, you could just say human body. And then again, link and relate back to the product. Again, it's going to round off your answer and demonstrate that higher ability, making sure that the product is comfortable to hold and manoeuvre. That would get you 1 mark. It does involve more time and detail, and you're going to have to write more to gain the marks here, but it's really worth putting in the effort at this stage. If you can maximise the amount of marks you get in section 1, it stands you in really good stead for the rest of the exam paper. This answering structure works for pretty much all design issues questions and was used for writing that physiology answer that's below as well. So very similar structure, and introducing the aspect and the product, given the reasoning